Hey, the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett has came out, and I am super excited. So after I watched the first episode, I decided I wanted to kind of do an instant review to it. So this will contain some spoilers, so I'd recommend if you haven't seen the first episode yet, hold off on watching this video. If you haven't yet, also as a reminder, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. But from a review of the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett, overall, I enjoyed it. It's always hard to judge a first episode because you don't really know how the season is going to progress, and sometimes, once future episodes comes along, you start viewing stuff differently in earlier episodes. So it's a little bit of a challenge to kind of give a review of a first episode when it's all you know about the series so far, but I will say overall, I enjoyed the first episode. I really liked the flashbacks to kind of exploring how Boba Fett survived the events of Return of the Jedi and how he ends up to where we meet him in The Mandalorian. I wasn't sure how much they were going to do that in this series, and I was hoping they were going to explore that, because otherwise we're going to be stuck with those questions. I kind of just hope they would kind of resolve those so we could just kind of focus on the future of the Boba Fett story. So I'm glad they did address those. I guess my one critique is I wish for the first episode, instead of kind of going back to the past, present, that maybe once they'd flash back to the past, maybe they just had kind of told that entire story, and then by the end of the first episode, kind of brought you back to the present instead of going back and forth, because I felt like it took you a little bit out of both storylines by kind of going back and forth that much. So that was my only small critique on the flashbacks to the past. I'm assuming they're going to do a little bit more on the flashback sides, because they still didn't bring you quite up to the events of The Mandalorian. I'm hoping this is not a story telling device they're going to use for the entire series. Maybe they wrap this up after an episode or two, and then the later parts of this first season completely focuses on the present with Boba Fett. Because I do think this flashback storytelling device would get a little old if this is the entire series is kind of split between the past and the present. So be interested to see how it develops that way. One thing I was kind of a little surprised by was I was expecting, much like The Mandalorian with the first episode, I was kind of expecting some sort of big surprise or something like that to kind of, for a lot of times with these series, with this first episodes, they love doing a big surprise to kind of help get a lot of attention for the series, a lot of buzzworthy stuff. So obviously with The Mandalorian, you had the debut of the child / Baby Yoda, and the internet went crazy. So I was kind of expecting maybe some sort of a character reveal or something like that towards the end of the first episode. And that didn't really happen. So that kind of surprised me. That's not really a critique. It's just something that kind of caught me off guard, that there wasn't that type of a moment to it. A few other things I really liked that I wanted to compliment on. The kind of the club they went to was very, very cool, the layout wise, and kind of like a nicer kind of upscale gambling den compared to what we're used to seeing on Tatooine. Enjoyed seeing all the stuff with the Tusken Raiders. Obviously, we don't get a ton with them. We've got a little bit of Mandalorian. This is by far the most Tusken Raider type content we've ever got. So I enjoyed seeing some elements of their culture that we've never seen before. So that was kind of cool. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more on, I guess, the Jawa side of it. It went straight to the Tusken Raiders, so you skipped a little bit there. So maybe a small increment there, but understand, probably not going to focus on both those. Especially the Mandalorian focused a lot on the Jawas, and maybe made sense to kind of go straight more towards the Tusken Raiders. Acting wise, the cast for this wasn't huge. For this first episode, obviously a lot of background characters, like speaking main character parts. But so far, everybody they've introduced, really enjoyed so far. I'm very intrigued by the emissary from the mayor and that interaction. I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. But overall, first episode, enjoyed it. Was it the best episode of Star Wars television I've ever seen? No. But did I dislike it? No. And again, I think it's one of those things, we really won't be able to evaluate this first episode until you see how this entire season goes. the season goes a certain way, you might look back and go like, oh, this first episode didn't make any sense whatsoever. They wasted a lot of time focusing on the past, don't like it. Or it could be the exact opposite. It's like, oh, the payoffs in the first episode were amazing, and you look back and you're like, oh, where I thought this was just a really good first episode, now it's a great first episode. So overall, I would say if you're a fan of Star Wars, if you like The Mandalorian, definitely check out the Book of Boba Fett. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's just great Star Wars stuff, and I'm always excited for some great Star Wars content. So anyway, so that's my review. Let me know what you thought of the first episode in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. See you soon, and may the Force be with you.